Hey everyone, this is Mr. Bonifaci. This is the second day of molarity. This is the little bit harder calculations, and we're going to be practicing how to do this. There's no direct notes right now. You wrote down these notes yesterday. What you're going to need to learn how to do here is how to manipulate the equation. So, to kind of talk about it in a slightly different way, this yesterday you learned how to calculate molarity, and that was moles divided by liters, and that was pretty straightforward. Okay. However, today I'm going to give you molarity in either liters or moles, and then you'll solve for the other one. So it's like working your way backwards through an algebraic equation. We've done this before. It shouldn't be too bad. A couple equation things you want to jot down in your notes so you don't forget, you're going to need them today, is remember if you want to go between moles and grams, like you're going to go from moles to grams, right? You're going to be multiplying by the molar mass, right? Molar mass, that's the number on the periodic table, okay? And if you want to go from grams to moles, we'll have to do that too at some point. That's dividing by molar mass. It's a very thick pen here. Jot that in your notes there so you have that. I'm going to erase it in a moment. We can rewind the video if you need to. Okay. So now the other thing you want to know is there'll be at points where we'll deal milliliters and liters. And you need liters for this equation right here, liters. So if you need to go from milliliters to liters, like this way, what you do is you divide by 1,000. Okay, that'll get you there. Okay. If you have to go the other way, which I don't think you do, but maybe you do, who knows? You multiply by 1,000. So jot that down for your notes, and that's the end of the notes. We're going to do 3 practice problems to kind of see how this works. Okay, here we go. Second, let me change my slide. Okay, so you're making a 3.00 molar solution, and it's in carbon dioxide and water. Okay, the final volume needs to be 3.50 liters. Okay, and then we want to find moles. So remember, molarity is, that's a big M, molarity is equal to moles of solute over liters, right? Okay, so we have the 3.00 here. Okay, we have that. And we have 3.50 on the bottom. Okay, so we have liters. Okay, so I'm just going to put an X on top because mole is not a single letter, so I'll put an X up here. Okay, so how do you solve for X? Now, I recommend always doing cross multiplication because it's making it way easier. So over here, 3.00 is the same as 3.00 over 1. Okay, they're the same thing. Okay, so in that way, when you do cross multiplication, you're going to end up with x times 1, that's x, but it's going to equal to 3.00 times 3.50, okay? And when you run that through your calculator, maybe you want to pause this and do it yourself, but it's 10.5, okay, 10.5 moles, which is what we want. That's our answer there, okay? So what you again do is put in the things you do and then put the 1 underneath the molarity and then do cross multiplication. And that's what we do in pretty much the whole time. So that's problem number 1, okay? And you can always rewind and watch these again if you need to during the homework, okay? So 1 second, I'm gonna wipe the screen. Let's go to the next slide. Okay, problem 2 of 3. Okay. Mr. Bonifaci is making a 0.0080 molar solution of salt. Remember, salt is NaCl. Okay. I just covered it, but it's 2,500 liters in the tank, and we want to know grams. Icky. Okay, so let's look at the equation again. Molarity is equal to moles over liters. Okay, so we have molarity. Okay, that is 0.0080. Okay, we do not have moles. I'm going to put an X there since we'll solve for that in a little bit. We do have liters, which is 2,450 liters, lots of them. Now, if we can get to moles, which we are going to, we can go from moles to grams, right? That equation I had you copy down, we'll get to in a second. That will help you get from moles to grams. You have to solve for moles first. So how do we do that? Again, this is right over here, and then it equals so the 0.0080 equals 2.540 over x, and then we'll put a 1 underneath there, and we'll do cross multiplication, so it's x times 1, that's easy. And then this other number, when you run it through your equation, ends up being, according to my magic powers of them or cross multiply those two things. So you multiply them, right? I'm getting looks like 19.6, and that's moles. Okay. Now we are not done, okay, because that just got us to moles and we need to get to grams. Now, remember the way you go from moles to grams is you multiply times the molar mass, okay? Just divide the other way, right? So the molar mass of salt, NaCl, if you look it up, is 54.88. Okay, is the molar mass of salt. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and multiply. I think it's just 54.8. We're going to go ahead and multiply 19.6 times the 54.8, and you get our final answer, which looks like 1,074 grams. Now you can put it in sig figs that look like it'd be 2. You can put in scientific notation if you want to, but in the end, if you do it fancy, it'll be 1.1 times 10 to the 3 grams. Okay, and that's what we end up being. Okay, so it's similar to the previous problem, but the new step here is we have to go from moles to grams. Okay, and the way we do that, oop, that was weird. Moles to grams is by multiplying by the molar mass. Okay. So one more question to go. Okay. So this one's a little bit different, a little bit harder, potentially. Okay. A mother wants to make Kool-Aid for her daughter's 5th birthday party. Kool-Aid is a 2.30 molar sugar solution. I made that number up. It's actually probably way less. Here is your formula for Kool-Aid for the sugar. Okay. And then you have this many grams of it. So how many liters of Kool-Aid? So you want to get to liters, okay? So let's go over a couple things. So remember, molarity is equal to moles over liters, okay? What do we have? We have right now, we have the molarity. It's 2.30, okay? We do not have moles yet. We want to find liters. So how do we get to moles? Well, we get to moles from grams, okay? So the way you do that, remember if going the other way, if you want to go from grams to moles, is you have to divide by the molar mass, right? So in this case here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the molar mass of this thing, and you could add it up yourself or you could Google it, but it ends up being 1 second here. I think it's 180. Where is it? Oh, yeah, 180.16. Okay. So you're going to go up and you're going to do, to get the moles, you'll do 754 divided by the 180. Okay. And you can add 0.16 if you want or not. Okay. But that will get you to the moles. Whoop. Okay. That'll get you to moles. Okay. So once you run that through there, the number I got for moles was 4.17. 4.17 moles. Okay. Wait, double check if I did that right. No, 1 second here. Yes. Yes, that's right. 4.17. Yeah, that makes sense. Sorry about that. And we're solving for liters. Now you can put an X down here or an L down here, whatever you want to do to solve for liters. Okay. Remember to put the 1 underneath here for cross multiplication. It's going to be a little bit more tricky this time. Okay. So when I do this times this, I will get 2.30x. Okay. And that'll be equal to 1 times 4.17. So that goes 4.17 over here. Okay, so how do we solve it the rest of the way? We have to divide both sides by the 2.30, 2.30, and that will give us our final answer here, which would be 1.81 liters. And there you go. Now, that should get you all. Just as a quick reminder, though, there's that one thing I had you right at the beginning. If you need to get to liters, which you will in the homework pretty regularly, remember the way you get to liters is you divide by 1,000. So it's milliliters divided by 1,000 gives you liters. Hopefully that helps. Thank you very much. Good luck.